Tenerife. This island is advertised like a beach holiday. Resorts, sunburns, cocktails by the pool, British pubs in the south. But get in a car and drive uphill for an hour and suddenly you're on another planet. This is the island of contrasts, a continent in miniature where you can get from rainforest to volcanic desert in less than an hour. We spent a month exploring Tenerife on foot, and these are 7 trails that we loved, ranked from Bring Your Grandmother to Bring Your Last Will. Number 1. Roques de García and Samara Loop. Every island has that one spot tourists flock to. Roques de García is that for Tenerife, and for once the crowds have a point. You start from the parking lot at Mirador de la Ruleta, nearly empty at the crack of dawn, but packed by 11. It's a loop trail, under 5 kilometers with barely 200 meters of climbing. You'll see Sunday hikers in flip-flops doing it, it's that easy. You're walking through the exposed inners of a volcano that collapsed into the sea long before humans existed. What remains are these spires of solidified magma standing like headstones for a mountain that used to dwarf everything around it. If you're not tired, drive 15 minutes from the parking lot to Mirador de Samara and do the Samara Loop. It's a beautiful trail where canary pines are scattered on black volcanic soil, pines that survive a wildfire by shedding their charred bark and regrowing like nothing happened. You'll walk straight through the Chahora eruption from 1798, which left huge black lava fields, with Pico Viejo and Teide towering in the background the whole time. But the real reward is the Samara crater rim at sunset, one of the best spots in Tenerife for it, watching the sun sink into a sea of clouds with La Palma on the horizon. Number 2. El Pijaral, Bosque, Encantado. Some forests feel old. This one makes you feel like you're time traveling. You start from the small parking lot at La Ensilada. This laurel forest in Anaga is what most of Europe looked like 20 million years ago, before the ice ages scraped it off the continent. The trees don't grow straight, they twist around each other fighting for light, forming corridors that look like they were designed by a committee of drunk architects. Moss hangs off everything, Pijara fans taller than you line up the trail. You'll snap photos like a madman in every direction, especially if you're lucky to get a misty morning. This route is under 7 km with minimal climbing, nothing technical, very beginner friendly. But it is strictly regulated, only 45 people per day are allowed to visit, which is why you need to book through the TenerifeOn app well in advance. Do not enter without a permit, the fines are spicy. Number 3. Barranco del Infierno. A gorge named after eternal damnation that's actually quite pleasant. The Spanish do enjoy their dramatic naming conventions. You start in the town of Adeje, one of the most beautiful towns in Tenerife. The trail has an office where you get a briefing and a mandatory helmet. It costs about 15 euros per person and only 300 people per day are allowed in. The time is limited. They close the gate to the ravine at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is an out and back along a ravine that slowly closes in on you. Walls grow taller, air gets cooler, dry scrub gives way to something almost subtropical. At the end there's a thin and tall waterfall, said to be the only permanent natural waterfall on the island. The trail is very well maintained and because of the regulations never too crowded. If you care about botany, the endemic species along the way will slow you down in a good way. Number 4. Masca Gorge. This is the trail everyone asks about, and yes, it delivers. It also takes your money and your time and leaves you wanting more of both. Tenerife is littered with ravines, canyons, barrancos as they call them, but this is the gorge to rule them all. You start in the lovely village of Masca, but you have to get there with the official shuttle minibus from Santiago del Teide. It's mandatory in a way that you get a stamp on your hand proving you came with the minibus, because if you didn't, you're not allowed on the trail. You also have to pre-book a boat that takes you from Masca beach at the end of the trail to Los Gigantes port, where your adventure ends and you figure out your own way back to Santiago del Teide. The entire organization of this hike is appalling, to be honest, but it's unavoidable. Anyway, you descend through a fracture in the island that formed 8 million years ago. The walls keep climbing higher, the light keeps shifting, and every turn reveals something that demands you stop and stare. Problem is, the clock disagrees. The route is one way. You hike down to the beach, no hiking back, the permits don't allow it. So you have 4 hours to absorb 5 kilometers of terrain that deserves at least a week. For anyone with a camera, it's a beautiful kind of torment. The canyon keeps giving and the schedule keeps taking. The boat ride gives you Los Gigantes from the water, cliffs up to 600 meters seen from below. Spectacular. We paid €150 for 2 people all in. Worth every cent and still felt like we only caught the trailer. Number 5. Afur-Taganana Loop. Now we're entering the rankings for serious hikers, where good fitness makes a difference in how your legs will cooperate the next day. You start in the tiny village of Afur, where there's a surprisingly spacious parking lot at the end of a narrow winding road. A road that will test your driving skills should you encounter the bus coming from the other way. The descent to the coast is scenic in that effortless way, volcanic cliffs, fantastic formations, several troglodyte houses peppering the mountain faces, and rocky Tamadiste beach at the bottom. You sit there eating a sandwich, thinking this is the life. Then you check the route and realize loop means going back up the other side, and the other side has opinions about your fitness level. If you stop for lunch in Taganana, and you should, the village earns it, you'll burn half of what you ate just rejoining the trail. The climb back to Afur is 600 meters of switchbacks to laurel forest with your legs drafting a formal letter of complaint. We clocked 16 kilometers total with over 1000 meters of elevation, most of it concentrated in the second half when you least want it. The final descent to Afur goes through a few households. Weirdly, one of them has even a sign to prevent you from hiking into somebody's living room. Still one of our favorites. Just don't lie to yourself about what's coming. Number 6. Pico Viejo crater. Most hikes have hard sections. This one just refuses to let up. You start from the same Mirador de la Roleta parking spot near Roques de García. Top tip, come before dawn. You'll get a proper spectacle when the sun rises over those formations and you'll cook yourself less on the way up. There's no shade, no water, no single moment where it suddenly gets tough. It's simply uphill for hours across a volcanic plain where the only company is rocks, silence and your own breathing. The altitude makes itself known. Above 3000 meters the air is thinner and the sun has a personal vendetta. What you get for your trouble is standing on the rim of a crater 800 meters wide, staring into a pit painted in reds and ochres and yellows by minerals that have been oxidizing since before your species existed. Teide looms across from you, watching like a disapproving older sibling. The scale of everything makes you feel appropriately insignificant. The trail is about 16 kilometers out and back with about 1100 meters of climbing. Permit required through TenerifeOn. One thing you can't overdo here is water. Bring 2 or 3 liters per each hiker who doesn't want to piss sand by the end. Number 7. The Benijo Loop. All is fun and games until someone loses their footing. This hike is where you need to be awake and fit. The loop is 20 kilometers long with 1400 meters of elevation. You start in the village of Benijo where a 3-car parking spot awaits. Needless to say, come early if you want to return during daylight, especially on shorter days like we had in late October. As soon as you leave the hamlet of El Draguilo, the trail gets narrow, exposed and in a few places possibly covered by rockfall. Sure-footed is what you want to be. This is a major red flag for those who suffer from vertigo or have trouble with exposed drops. However, this is the only dangerous stretch of the route. This 20-kilometer adventure goes along Anaga's wildest coastline, crossing colorful ravines and cactus orchards. The route passes Hacienda Las Palmas, a 17th century wine estate now being slowly digested by the environment. You'll find dragon trees, figs and limes growing amongst the ruins. The place breathes history, and if you do a bit of research before visiting, you'll make sense of everything you see. You go past the oldest lighthouse on the island, Faro de Anaga, and down to Bermejo Beach, where you can dip your feet and have a break. You'll need it because what follows is the climb to Chamorga and back to Benijo. We got caught in a downpour that turned the forest into a rainforest. Cameras went into the bag and we filmed with the phones. By the end we were soaked, steaming and completely certain this was the best day of the entire vacation. It is not a trail you should take lightly. Check the weather, leave early, let someone know where you're headed. But if you want Anaga without the safety rails, with the history, the wild coast, the parts most visitors never see, this is where you find it. So there you have it, 7 trails across Tenerife ranked by difficulty, covering everything from volcanic dunescapes to forests older than the ice ages, wild beaches and deep canyons with some healthy collective elevation gain. If you want the full story of any of these, the individual videos are linked in the description, permits, timings, all the details, along with the stories, legends and history behind each place. As usual, if you like the video, liking and subscribing helps us bring more stories to this channel for you to enjoy. See you on the next one.